Good afternoon. I am calling this meeting to order a few minutes behind schedule. It is January 13th, 2025, and the time is 1:40. We are at the South Carolina Department of Disabilities and Special Needs here in Columbia, South Carolina, holding our regular commission meeting. It's going to be a few days earlier than normal, which is normally scheduled on the third Thursday of the month. To begin, I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to ask Commissioner Barry Malthus to read the notice of meeting statement.
Thank you, ma'am. Meeting notice announcing the date, time, and place of the January 13th, 2025 commission meeting was distributed on January 10th, 2025 to appropriate media and other groups or individuals that have requested notification in advance. The announcement and agenda were posted at the Department of Disabilities and Special Needs Administrative Office and on the website. According to the Americans with Disabilities Act, the public has been notified that accommodations such as interpreters, mobility assistance, and other assistance will be provided to individuals with disabilities and special needs if requested in advance. Thank you.
I'd like to welcome everyone here this afternoon. You're seeing a new face up here. Chairman Ed Miller is unable to make it in person, so I am going to be chairing the meeting today. First thing on our agenda is we're going to adopt.
And you might mention that you're vice chairman.
The vice chairman, that's correct. First thing on the agenda is we're going to adopt today's agenda. So I will need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it, and the motion is carried, and the agenda is adopted. I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner David Thomas, who is on the phone for the invocation. Commissioner Thomas.
Let's try now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can now.
Sir. Yes, sir.
All right. I will provide the invocation right now. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time that we can be together. Father, thank you for the responsibility of trying and assisting individuals and families that have needs. Especially, we think of the terrible situation in California. We ask your intervention in these fires and the Santa Ana winds that are so horrible. And we pray for understanding in what staff will soon be presenting to us. Amen.
Amen. We have our last minutes that were October 17th last year, 2024, in our packets, and we will need to approve the commission meetings from that October date. So we'll need a motion to approve.
I so move that we approve the minutes of the October 17th meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it. The motion is carried, and the minutes are approved from October 17th, 2024. Next up is the commissioner's update. I'll start with those on the phone. Commissioner Thomas, do you have any updates to share with us?
No updates. I appreciate the commission's patience with me. I've been under the weather a lot lately, a lot of respiratory and sinus kind of infections, upper respiratory, and I made it to church yesterday and probably infected much of the congregation. So, but I didn't want to infect you all, so I'm home.
Thanks. Chairman Miller, I'm not sure if you want to share any on the phone either. If you want to share anything?
Don't have anything to share.
Okay. All right. I'll pass it over. Commissioner Malthus, anything?
The only thing that I have today is that is that I would like for those to be aware that we have some legislative issues that we'll be talking about later. So there have been some things pre-filed in the Senate for that relate to those with disabilities. So if anybody's not on whenever that actually happens, I just wanted to be aware of that and to keep an eye out for that as that goes over the next few months. And the only other thing is that I had an interesting call from somebody relating to the information that I shared last month about the Shriners Hospital situation, and I was thankful to be able to help them in a small way with that. So that's about the only updates I have right now. Thanks.
I wish I could say I'm under the weather, I'm just senile. So forgive me for being late.
I have like some fun news to share. You know, I always like to share news about my daughter, McKenna, who has a spinal cord injury. Last month, or a couple, oh, now it's, in December, she won a collegiate wheelchair tennis nationals championship, bringing that championship to Clemson. So bringing a national championship for wheelchair tennis to South Carolina, which is a pretty cool, big deal. It'll be the first one that we've had in South Carolina, so I'm proud of her. And there was 12 colleges that competed down in Alabama. It was in Birmingham, Alabama. So it was a great event, and I love the fact that the recognition from it can be brought by the college, also for others with disabilities in the state of South Carolina. So the proud nod. And then also there's a Palmetto Games that is hosted by Clemson, and that's for anybody in South Carolina with physical disabilities that would like to sign up and attend. I don't have the information right now. I think it's in April, but I know that they're starting to put the word out there. So just want to make sure that we can get a good showing, from anybody who wants to participate. This isn't just a Clemson thing. It's for everybody in the state of South Carolina. So I think that it's a pretty great event. So I think that's all I have to share.
The only thing I would say is congratulations to her, and I hope that they will have a special celebration for her to be the first national championship to come to Clemson. I think she'll always be in the record books that way.
That's right. She's the first one. They did do a big honor ceremony with her at one of the basketball games, and they've shown it right. She just did a podcast this week. Actually, it was just released. It was probably released 2 days ago. And they asked her a lot of pertinent questions, where, she's had her injury now for 6 years. But her focus really is on bringing adaptive sports for everyone, not just for collegiate athletes, but to make adaptive sports available for everybody with disabilities. So she touches on that a bit, but it's a 30-minute podcast. I know you can find it on Spotify. So if you just go on Spotify and just Google her name, McKenna Woodhead, I think it's episode 28 for Clemson Plus. But they have a lot of good questions out there, and also, like important ones, like, what does she feel, like what advice she would give to other people with similar disabilities as herself. And she just says, get out there, advocate, get out there and be with other people. So it's a pretty good podcast, I think. So if anyone's interested. But thanks, Barry.
Congratulations.
The next up is we have, oh gosh, I need to put my glasses on. All right, we have public input, and we do have someone from public input today. We have Miss Heather Waddell. If you would like to step up, it's a 3-minute limit, so we'll just keep you under that, but welcome. And
Thank Thank you for having me. It's kind of interesting to say good afternoon, commission members, instead of good morning. I had to keep checking to make sure the time right. But thank you so much for providing me with the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Heather Waddell, and I have the honor of serving as the Executive Director for the Tri-Development Center of Aiken County. As you know, our state experienced a once-in-a-lifetime hurricane this past September. Hurricane Helene hit our area like no other hurricane has ever hit the Central Savannah River area, known as the CSRA. Our community was in a state of emergency with very limited to no resources. We provide residential services to approximately 200 residents in Aiken. We initially operated one shelter from our TDC West Day program location, and then once power was restored, we were able to open a second shelter at our Aiken Day program. So why am I here letting you know about these occurrences today? Well, we had an intermittent care facility, ICF, sustain damage when a large tree fell on top of the home. And while we were sheltering the residents of this particular facility, we knew it was only a temporary situation because we knew that this would not be a quick fix. You may know that when you operate an ICF facility, you must make arrangements to shelter residents in a like facility, like meaning a hospital, a nursing home, or possibly a regional center. We were finding obstacles at all ends until I reached out to Janet Priest to see if she could provide any help or guidance in our time of need. Needless to say, Janet did step up, and she pointed me in the direction of the Salibi Center in Hartsville, South Carolina. I reached out to facility administrator Joyce DeVoe, and that is when the magic began to happen. Joyce and her entire team were simply outstanding. They rolled the red carpet out for my team and my residents, and we will never be able to thank them enough for their exemplary hospitality. Joyce and her team met with us every single week when our residents were at Salibi Center to ensure that we were all on the same page and our ladies were taken care of. My team went into 2 groups of 3 where we used local hotels to provide R&R for my staff when they were not taking care of the ladies at Salibi. Salibi Center invited us to be a part of their Halloween celebrations, fall activities. Their dietary department was nothing short of amazing. All food came prepped for each resident, wheeled in on a cart where my staff was able to set up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Not gonna lie, my team got a little spoiled from the team at Salibi Center. If you have ever found yourself in a time of need, it is not easy and at times can be scary to lean on others for support. And the team at Salibi Center welcomed us with open arms. DDSN may not always receive recognition for the things that they get done right, and I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the actions taken by DDSN and their Salibi team in stepping up and showing out in our time of need. It is with excitement that we met our goal of getting our ladies home in time for Thanksgiving, and I'm just going to finish this part. And then they did indeed, and we were able to come home before Thanksgiving. So again, on behalf of my board of directors, my team members, and most importantly, the ladies that reside at the Linden ICF of Tri-Development Center, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your wonderful hospitality.
We should all be very thankful for the Salibi Center for stepping up and making memories also, especially.
Very good.
Yeah. Thank you
A
for
bit of good news. We
Yes.
had good news last month and this month, so we had 2 good newses in a row. The guy from last month had a lot of nice things to say about us for a change.
Well, we always like to hear that.
By the way, might I ask, David, have you heard, is his wheelchairs from last month all fixed and everything is fine with him, I guess? Or have you heard, David? It's okay.
It's okay. Okay. All right, next up is commission committee business. And we'll go to the policy committee. Do you, Commissioner Coher, would like to touch on that?
Yes, it's very simple. We have one policy that needed an update, and Ms. Manos, the Associate State Director of Policy, is taking care of that. She's going to present it, and the whole committee.
Okay.
Sure. So I'm bringing you today Policy Directive 13322 DD. It's around Freedom of Information Act request. DDSN staff requested that we bring this directly to the commission. The updates to the policy are really around wording, code of laws, where you send the request, and cost. So there's not like a lot of meat changes, right? It's really more administrative in nature. So you guys have the marked up copy in your packet as well as the policy as written with the marked up changes. So I'm really just here to ask the commission to approve it.
And that would be in tab 3 of our commission.
True, tab 3.
All right.
As committee chairman, I'm presenting that as a motion.
All right, do we have a motion to approve then? And a second?
I'll second. I don't have an objection to the policy as it's written. I've looked at it carefully and I have no problem.
Okay.
I just hope the providers realize they'll now be charged if they ask for information.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. The Freedom of Information Act requests 133-22-DD is approved as written, as changed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Gary. Old business, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Courtney Crosby for a Regional Center renovation update.
Thank you. Following the October 8th meeting of the Joint Bond Review Committee, or the JBRC, the agency began implementing the Regional Center renovation plan. So in accordance with the proviso, the renovation plan was first implemented at the Coastal Center, specifically with the vacant dormitories on that campus. So that's Highlands 110 and Hillside 620. We worked with the Office of the State Engineer to procure architect engineering services, and design work is currently underway at both of those dorms. Hillside 620 is a little farther along in the process, and we expect the design phase to be complete in February or March. We also began to execute the renovation plan at the PD Center. We started there with Mulberry 302, which is a vacant dormitory with extensive plumbing needs. The contracts were signed in December. Design work is underway, and we have an expected completion of construction documents there of mid-spring. So since the JBRC's approval in October, we also requested and received architect engineering services proposals for the 17 remaining Priority 1 and Priority 2 buildings at the Coastal Center. So just a refresher, Priority 1 is residential, Priority 2 would be program areas. We've also received proposals for the 17 remaining Priority 1 and 2 buildings at the PD Center, Priority 1 renovations at Salibi Center, all Priority 1 and Priority 2 buildings at the Midland Center, and all Priority 1 and Priority 2 buildings at the Witten Center. So those proposals were all due to DDSN by December 30th. We're pleased to report they were all received timely, and they're currently under review by the agency. The JBRC established an expectation of quarterly progress reporting. So our first quarterly implementation progress report was submitted to the JBRC for its meeting on the 29th. So we'll make sure we bring back any feedback we receive, as well as plans for recognizing those who helped make this plan a reality at our next update for the commission. Any questions?
I look forward to that update.
Yep. You're saying the update is next quarter, so it'll be 3 months?
So our first one was due January 2nd for their meeting on January 29th. So it covered from approval on October 8th through December 31st. So we would do, a regular quarterly update after that.
So probably at the April meeting, I guess, because it's January, February, March.
I can give you guys an update at the February meeting, just to let you know what feedback we get after we update the JBRC in January.
Okay, good. Why don't you plan to come back in February?
I can do that.
Any other questions? Thank you, Courtney.
All
Thank you very
right,
much. Next on the phone, I think Carol Stewart is on the phone for the legislative update.
I am. Thank you. Thank you, Chairwoman. So we're at the beginning of the legislative session, as many of you know, but bills restructuring the healthcare agencies were pre-filed in both the House and the Senate. Your information, the House bill number is.
You need to, wait. You need to speak, you need to start over because it's muffling. This is
I'm
very.
sorry. Can you hear me?
Oh, we can now, go ahead.
Okay, the House bill number is 3613. It was filed by Representative Lee Hewitt. And it's the same bill that the House filed last year. The Senate bill number is S2, and that was filed by Peeler, Alexander, and Davis, leadership in the Senate. It pared down last year's bill by only merging 3 of the state agencies, which includes us, Department of Mental Health, and DDSN, which is the Department of Alcohol and Drug Abuse. The governor has publicly supported restructuring these agencies as well, and you've probably seen some of that support play out in the media. While pressure is building to pass legislation, it's still early in the process, and what becomes law remains to be seen. There will be amendments along the way, and at some point, the House and Senate versions will need to be reconciled into one new law. Keep in mind, though, that this is not a done deal. We have a long way to go before legislation makes it to the governor's desk. With that said, there is a strong will and continued push to make us a cabinet agency along with several others. In terms of the budget, we have started participating in the budget process this year already with an upcoming hearing in House Ways and Means on January 22nd. We've already briefed the staff and the subcommittee chair on our request and rationale for setting our priorities. And from what I could tell, it seemed our budget priorities seemed well received and understood. I'll pause there. We don't have a lot to report so far because the legislature has not started their session. They'll start tomorrow. Hopefully in February at the next commission meeting, I'll have a lot more information and clarity on both our budget process and on the restructuring legislation. Thank you.
Let me just ask one thing. You said that, I shouldn't say ask, I should say clarify. You said that the House bill version, which is, in my mind, is going to drive this more than anything, based on what's happened in the last couple of years, is the same bill they submitted last year?
It is. They didn't make any change. They just put the same bill back in, knowing I'm sure that it's going to have to be, it'll have to be merged with the Senate bill, and there'll be amendments and hearings and that kind of thing. But I think they took the shortcut and just decided to file it exactly like it was filed last year.
Thank you.
Certainly. Thank you.
Any other questions?
But you are planning on coming back in February, so we're going to have you on the agenda again, right?
I plan to be here.
Okay, we'll be back on the agenda again, we hope.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you very much.
All right, next is new business. This would be tab 4 in your pamphlets, and this would be the fiscal year 25 year-to-date spending plan budget versus actual expenditures. Mr. Bruce Busby.
Good afternoon. I hope everyone had a good holiday season. The report, tab 4, is showing that we're in very good shape. We are 50% through the year, and we're right at 49% expended. The revenues are right about 50% coming in, maybe a little bit higher. So we're in good shape. We had a budget plan of $378 million. So we have collected over half of that 378 million, and we have spent approximately half of it. The only thing that we have fully expended is our allocations, which went to 3 organizations as approved by the legislature. There's nothing here that really shows out of whack. But I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Anybody yet?
When is our next finance committee meeting gonna be, do you know?
It was, so usually it's a week, before, I can't remember, it's a quarterly, it was supposed to be this month, so maybe it's a couple more months. Like 2 months. Unless something comes
So it'll be
up,
March.
unless something comes
Is
up.
it March? It's April, it's like April the 9th, I believe.
But if anything needs covered before then, or, you know, approved or anything, we would have a meeting if needed. I think we're good.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, thank you.
Before we leave, would you give me a call after the meeting sometime so that I can go over some things with you that we talked about in November?
Yes, sir. I'll be glad to. We've had some issues come up and I need to talk to you about it anyway, as far as some of the reports, transitioning between two different management styles, if you will. The numbers got a little funny, not funny, but I just didn't come back to some of the things the previous administrator was put together, and in questioning it, trying to make it look real, I had to go back to some historical data that I actually get published from the SKIS committee, which are the actual records of the state. So, but I'll be glad to call you on that. Thank you.
Thanks.
Director Holloway for her director's update.
Good afternoon, everyone, and Happy New Year's. Most of my updates are from December, since we haven't met since October. Starting here with central office, in December, we had the 5th annual DDSN holiday market. And to date, it was our most successful market ever. The event featured a record 23 vendors that sold holiday gifts, crafts, coffee and tea, baked goods, ornaments, soaps, personal products, jewelry, clothing, and home goods. There were approximately 300 plus attendees, crowding the halls of central office, and several vendors sold out of all of their items. We also had a special appearance from Mr. and Mrs. Claus. We actually had several Santa Clauses, and that provided photo opportunities for consumers, visitors, staff, and families. The holiday market was also featured on WIS-TV Soda City Live and Carolina News. I wanted to especially thank all of the staff and all of the vendors for their hard work on making this one of the best holiday markets we've had thus far. Over at PD, the consumers had a very merry December filled with karaoke, candy cane games, snowball fights, scavenger hunts, holiday crafts, a December birthday party, and a Christmas program with a visit also from Santa atop a City of Florence fire truck escorted by police. I'm gonna need a fire truck next year, just so y'all know. Over at Coastal Center welcomed their new Assistant Facility Administrator, Kaylin Milford, who is a lifelong resident of Charleston, South Carolina. Residents spent the holiday season watching Christmas movies, making arts and crafts, and playing games. Staff and consumers also enjoyed and participated in the Coastal Center annual Christmas parade with decorated floats and vehicles. Also exciting news out of Coastal Center is that one of the staff members will be featured on American Idol. They also are the karaoke instructor at Coastal, if there's such a thing. But this person is, and they'll be featured. Landon is his name, and we wish him luck. He'll make his first TV appearance in February. There was a lot of contracts to be signed, a lot of conversation, but we're excited about this opportunity for him to be on American Idol. Millen Centers celebrated Christmas with a Hollywood themed program. The event featured skits and musical performances from The Grinch That Stole Christmas, Little Drummer Boy, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Polar Express, We Three Kings, and a special appearance by Santa Claus also. Salibi had residents and staff had a lively Christmas program with musical performances, holiday videos, caroling, and a gift-filled finale hosted by Mr. and Mrs. Claus. And finally, over at Witten Center, they held a holiday decorating contest on the campus and hosted its annual Christmas parade after participating in the Clinton Christmas Parade. To highlight our autism program, as usual, our director of autism, Stephanie Turner, has remained very, very busy. Currently, the ASD eligibility maintained no wait list at the upstate office. We also started recruitment for the family training and support pilot. Also presented DDSN 101 to about 40 people at Charleston School District. Joyce Kimmery attended Summit on Early Childhood, and we also announced our second annual Autism Connect Conference, which is slated for April 2025 with 25 plus speakers and 70 plus exhibitors, and more details regarding that conference will be coming soon. If you have any questions in the meantime, please reach out to, I'm looking at Courtney, but it probably need to go directly to Stephanie, because she'll know more than anybody about this. Other also outreach and education events, Stephanie also participated in helping Riverbank Zoo launch their inaugural sensory night at Wildlife for families of the Midlands. I believe it was last week. Stephanie was interviewed by WIS, and that interview has been highlighted on our Facebook page. Lastly, the Silver Palmetto Award. We would like to congratulate the town of Moncks Corner as the 2024 Silver Palmetto Award winner. DDSN will be awarding the Silver Palmetto Award at the Municipal Association of South Carolina Hometown Legislative Action Day on January 21st, 2025. The award recognizes the efforts of municipalities that show outstanding support of the disability community. Moncks Corner created an all-inclusive play area to complement the Miracle League fields they recently built for the community. They will also be expanding sports and recreation opportunities for those we serve. I believe Commissioner Miller and I will be attending that. I believe Commissioner Malford, you have conflict or
Yes, I can't make that one unless it becomes an emergency or something where you can't, then I would, but it's gonna be, I'd have to move a lot of things around.
Okay, so Commissioner Miller, you and I will present that to Moncks Corner on January 21st, which is the next Tuesday, correct?
Absolutely.
Also, just for some internals changes, folks will probably have noticed the letterhead's changed. Courtney is now have been, I don't know if it's a promotion, you tell me. I don't know. She's now our chief of staff. Currently, she'll still hold the internal audit role until we figure out in conjunction with the commission what's next for that role. But I would be remiss to not announce that she's the chief of staff. And just in this 3 months, 2 months, short period of time, she's been instrumental in helping out and doing great things for the agency. So thank you, Courtney.
Thank you. And thanks, Courtney, for wearing many hats.
Yes.
Actually, with that, we are going to go into executive session this morning, or this afternoon, to discuss personnel matters, Director of Internal Audit position, and contractual matters for the Regional Center Security Contract. And then we will come back and we will close out the session. So I need a motion and a second to proceed to go into executive session.
So moved. Second, Barry Melford.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, ayes have it. We're going to go into executive session, and I want to thank everyone for being here today. Okay. All right. We are coming out of executive session. There were no votes taken and no decisions were made. Can I get a motion to come back to the commission meeting from the executive session?
So moved. Then we go back into executive session?
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. We are coming out of the executive session. The next regular meeting is scheduled for February 20th, 2025 at 10:30. And as a reminder, that's back on the regular schedule. This was, today was a special day and time, so next month we're back on schedule, regular time and date. And with that being said, can I get a motion
So moved.
to adjourn? Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Ayes have it, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully.